I'll take you. Okay, what's up, everybody? We're here with Cliffnotes, powered by Hoop Jargon, with Cynthia Cooper, four-time WNBA champion, head coach of Texas Southern University. Man, what's up, Coop?
What up? What up? You good?
I'm good, man.
You already need a drink?
Huh?
Jeez. Man, I ain't going to be that tough on you. It's going to be an easy interview.
Man, Coop bust me out already, man. You know me. This is a adult drink-friendly show. So I definitely ain't got no problem pouring up. But yeah, Coop, man. So first, I just want to peel back the layers you're a woman with many, many layers. Very accomplished woman in a lot of ways. And so let's start with the first layer, man. How things going with the situation with the the COVID-19 and you being a basketball coach? How's it affecting you?
Yeah, there's just so many moving parts that are ever changing. So it's a little difficult. It's difficult being isolated at home, but you definitely have to stay home. You have to follow those rules and regulations for the better, not just of yourself, but of the community, your surrounding community, and everyone involved. So it's been hard because we were about to go play in our tournament. We were actually in Alabama at practice when everything was canceled. So we had to, come right back, and then obviously school and online learning and really getting kids focused on a different way of learning. So you don't want kids to fall through the cracks because now instead of going to a classroom, they're opening up their computer, and you still want them to be student athletes as opposed to just athletes, and still make progress towards their degrees. And so there's just a lot of different layers, and recruiting is another layer. The signing period is coming up soon. So you still have to recruit. You have to make those phone calls, and the NCAA has really made this a dead period. So you can't bring people on campus and you can't go see kids. You really have to recruit from a phone or a video call or, something like that. You can't make there can't be any contact. So there's a lot of, this is definitely a new normal for us,
Yep.
But, you still, I'm in it to win it. I'm trying to win at everything I do. So you just got to find a way.
And that's kind of like with one thing I've learned about being around you for the last 15 years. You were there like my junior year at Prairie View when I played ball. You came in as a women's coach. You came in as just like, hey, this is what I got going. I don't care what y'all had going before me. I'm gonna find a way to make it happen. And you turned the basketball program. I remember that vividly, like that. So tell me how your mindset is, even with that, to impart on others to kind of have that same type of mentality.
I think so many people underachieve and they expect less of themselves. So guess what they get? Less. I'm all about winning. I'm about being the best version of myself every day, not just for myself and for the betterment of myself and my own personal goals, but also for whoever I'm interacting with. I want to bring my best to the table for them so that they can possibly get better and they can feed off my energy. When I got to Prairie View, no mentality, had no winning mentality, no work ethic. And a lot of kids don't. Sometimes kids believe they're working at their very, very best or their hardest until they see somebody else doing it. And they see the reason why someone else is winning. So for me, it's about winning. It's about mentality. It's about giving of yourself to your craft so that you can be the best you can be every day. Now, if you got to play against me and my best every day, I just believe I'm going to come out on top because I believe my best is better than your best every day.
Yeah.
Right? And there's very few people willing to bring their A game every day, to every practice, to every game, to every season. So you can go back to the Houston Comets. We won 4 straight because we were willing to bring the best version of ourselves every game, every year.
Man, I love that about you, Coop, because that's why I like Kobe Bryant is my favorite player of all time. Because even me, being a Division I player, I played professional overseas. Mm-hmm. I didn't fully have that mentality. And I want to know, like, what instilled that in you just to, like, every day I'm going to beat your head into the wall every day just because? Like, what kind of made that from you? for you,
Well,
right?
I think growing up in the inner city, you kind of have to have that mentality. You got to have that sink or swim. You either gonna swim or you gonna sink. There ain't no other way about it. And so many kids nowadays might give themselves excuses. I believe in giving myself a reason,
Yeah.
giving myself a reason to succeed as opposed to an excuse to underachieve. Right. So for me, growing up, I grew up in the inner city. I grew up in Watts, surrounded by gangs and drugs. And we could talk about how we didn't know if we were going to eat or the syrup sandwiches or the sugar sandwiches or the burnt toast, the government cheese that wouldn't melt. I mean, I could talk about it all, but at the end of the day, the point is it helped me be tough. It helped me want more. It helped me be hungry for success and not let any obstacle stand in my way because, my journey is my journey. Your journey is yours. And each person has their own individual journey. But everyone at some point is going to have an obstacle. Whatever that obstacle is in your life, you have to have the wherewithal. You have to have the inner strength and know that you're on the right path enough so that you can overcome any obstacle, right? So my obstacle was the death of my mom or the death of my brother or, I had several obstacles, along the path, but I never let anything stop me. I never let anything knock me off my path. And that energy comes, I kept that energy throughout my career, whether it was in college, high school, where we won a state championship, college, where we won 2 national championships, or the pros, where we won four straight world championships, gold medal in Korea. I'm about winning. I'm about overcoming the odds. I'm about doing what people believe I can't do. And then once I achieve a goal, I'm already ready. I'm already setting a new goal for myself. I'm setting another goal because I never arrive. I'm never arriving. I'm always reaching, trying to get it, trying to succeed. And then I get it. Let's move higher. There is no limit.
And I like that, and I think that's I'm a big proponent of people kind of tapping into their king and queen spirit. Later in life, I got that. What I mean, and I think that's dope that you had it at such a young age because you could cultivate it. And you could constantly motivate yourself. Like there's no ceiling, like you said. In my mind, me just being Division I athlete, I'm like, okay, I made it because I came from the hood too, but I didn't have an example. You know what I mean? To understand the no. That's just another ceiling to reach, and that's like you got to continue making a new ceiling. There's no such thing as stagnation. And I think that's one thing a lot of people lack is having that, a real foresight goal of what to do. So how do you convey that to your kids, to push that over? Everybody doesn't have that, cool.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest problems with kids nowadays, including my twins, everyone's afraid. Like there's a level of fear of failure that these kids have nowadays that I didn't have. Not because I knew I was going to succeed, but because I knew I wasn't perfect. I'm going to say that one more time. I wasn't afraid because I knew I was going to be a Hall of Famer. I wasn't afraid because I knew I wasn't perfect, right? So I knew I was going to make a mistake, but I knew I had to learn from that mistake, get up, and be better the next time. You can't be perfect when you're learning. I'm going to say that one more time. You cannot be perfect and hold yourself to that standard and have that level of pressure on yourself. You put that level of pressure on yourself to be perfect when you're learning, when you're trying to get better, when you're trying to be great, when you're trying to learn the mentality of being great, the work ethic of being great, the strength you need, the conditioning you need. All of those things come with a certain level of failure. And you can't be afraid of that because then you can never get over the hump. You can never get past that fear. Me, I didn't know. I knew I wasn't perfect. So shoot, I'm like, have at it. Yeah. Oh, I need to work on my jumper. No problem. I'll work on it. I need to follow through more. Got it. I need to learn how to go left because all I'm doing is going right. I'm gonna learn how to go left. I need a mid-range game. Got you. I need a three-point shot. Let me work on it. I was just never perfect. So it wasn't hard for me to take the criticism, to take a coach trying to teach me and absorb all of that information put it in my game, work on it, and then, become the player that a lot of you guys saw in the WNBA.
Yeah, and Cooper, I want you to compartmentalize that because it's easy when you're good and you can say this is what I did. But one thing I've learned of running a sports group that a lot of people don't understand the work it requires at that level to stay at that level and then be better than everybody at that level. So when you said you worked in your jump shot, what did that comprise of you taking your own time to do that?
Well, let me say this: the WNBA got a chance to see a finished product.
Yeah.
If you go back to my years so I started playing basketball when I was 15, 16 years old, right? I was a sophomore in high school, right? So I personally, I had to work on everything, right? So for example, I just took it one step at a time. So I had to work on my jump shot. So jump shot, let's work on jump shot. Going right, I knew how to go right. I was a track athlete before, so that's all I could do initially. But when you look at my game at USC, I would go right. I would shoot a little mid-range jumper. I really had to develop my other skills. And for me, it's about getting in the gym and not giving yourself an excuse. It's not on the coach for you to work on your game. It's on you to work on your game.
Absolutely.
You get better when the coaches aren't around. You get better when you're working in spite of, in spite of your friends going to the mall, in spite of your friends going live on Facebook, in spite of your friends going to party, in spite of when you decide that you have a certain need, it's on you to work on that weakness. And then you bring that to your team. Once you've developed it, you bring that to the game. You bring that to your team. And that's how you make people around you better. So for me, I knew I didn't have a jump shot. I had to go work on that jump shot. Once I did that, people started to double team me or play off of me because I was quick going to the basket. So now I got to develop a three-pointer. Got to develop a three-pointer and make them come out on me so I can really go to my strength. And that's penetrating to the basket, right? So each phase of my game, then they knew I could penetrate to the basket. So I would go right. Now I got to learn how to go left. Now I have to learn how to decision make and push the right button in the middle of a game, depending on how the team is defending me. So there was always something that I needed to learn. And because I wasn't perfect and because I wasn't afraid to fail, I just absorbed everything little by little and just added to my game every single year.
And I like that, man. And that's basically like the nuance you add to your basketball game. And so everybody has a thing that gets you to a certain level. Let's start Division I level. You at USC, you're not an SC if you ain't got game. And so I'm sure that molded you are. And I love your comment saying about when the WNBA came about, you were a finished product. Because as we know, this was towards the later part of your career. It was about 2000, 98, I want to say?
97.
97. So what would you think you have done if you came in as a younger player? What would you think your impact would have been overall with that?
I think I would have remained in the history books a while because I wouldn't have spent only 4 years in the WNBA. I would have spent 10 years, 12 years in the WNBA. And I'll tell you, when I was 25, 26, 27, I was still growing my game, but I was still a beast.
Yeah.
I was still scoring 50 points or finish around the rim or knocking down clutch free throws or hitting my mid-range shot until I developed my three-point shot. I was constantly growing. I had games where I was 67 points or 40 or 50 or 7. I shot a high percentage because you got to remember my number one goal was to get to the rim. Take a high percentage shot, get to the rim or get to the free throw line until I developed my mid-range game, my runner, my three-point shot, my in and out. Shook some people just by
whole complex.
Anyway. So I just I wanted to be the best. And in order to be the best, you've got to put in the work. And if you ain't willing to put in the work, then you can't complain.
Put that on a t-shirt, man. Golly, man.
You just can't.
You can't complain if you're not putting the work in again. I'm a person myself. I look back and lament, and again, I wish I had that same type of mentality I have now when I was younger, because I just thought, just being there was good enough. Like, nah, you got to excel. I had a lesson a gentleman told me when I played in Germany. And to me, I mean, my stats at Prairie View were okay, but they weren't good enough to get overseas. But I bust my ass to get overseas and promote myself and what have you. And once I got over there, I got some game from my OG. He was like, man, he pulled me to the side. He was like, hey, man, you having too much fun with them dudes. I'm like, what you mean? Like, I like the teammates. Because I came from Portugal first. I hated my teammates. I would try to bust their ass every day. He's like, hey, man, you need to bust their ass every day. You need to, like, leave no doubt.
That's right.
You're the best player on their team every day. And so I wish somebody would told me that at 16 years old. Like, and it clicked at 24. I'm like, dang, you're right, man. Like, you really have to have that mentality.
So I'm going to tell you this. I'm at USC. I'm coming off the bench. I'm the sixth player. I think I'm the best player on that team. I was better in my mind. I was better than Cheryl Miller. I was better than the McGee twins. I was better than everybody in my mind. Yeah. I knew I had to play my role in order for us to be successful.
Cheryl, the McGee
but in my
twins.
mind, in my mind, I'm the best. I'm the best. When I played, I made the world championship team. I'm going to date myself, but in 1986, right? I tried out in an open tryout. I wasn't even invited, and I made the team. It never dawned on me in my mind that I wasn't going to make that team.
Yeah.
Because I knew something they didn't know. I had something they didn't have. I'm going to outwork you, and I'm going to bring it every day. I don't care if I can't breathe because we're in Colorado Springs and the air is thin. I don't care if my chest burning. I don't care if you practice me 3 times a day. I really don't care. I know if you're a 2-guard, you're going to have to see me every single day. And that's the exact same thing I brought to Italy. That's the exact same thing I brought to the WNBA. You got to see me every day. I'm a foreigner. I'm supposed to be the best. But more than that, I'm going to show you every day that I'm better than you. Just so there's no problems. When I was in the WNBA, Coach Chancellor used to get mad at me because I was coming to practice, not just hard, but I came to training camp on the first day. I'm a veteran.
Yeah.
I come there on the first day. Everybody, why you here? You know why? I said, because the right wing is taken. You need to know that the right wing is mine. And I'm here to show you every single day that this right wing is taken. And if you want some playing time, you need to go over there. That's right. Every day.
That's that prison yard stuff, man. Like, you let you know what it is. It ain't no questions who to pass the ball to.
No question.
I love it.
No doubt.
It's that watch coming out, man. One of my teammates at Prairie View, Phil Scott, man, he did me the same way. He's from San Bernardino, as a matter of fact. Coach Hawk showed him that, I signed, and he looked at me. He looked me up and down. He's like, shit. Duke. He basically asked me, can I play? He didn't ask me, what's up? Hey, how you doing? He looked me up and down and asked me, could I play? I was like, at the time, at 21 years old, I wasn't ready to receive that, but I respected the hell out of it. That's how you got to be, man. And that's dope, man.
I didn't even ask people because, once again, let's go all the way back to the beginning. I believe my best is better than your best. I just believe it. Yeah. And I believe I'm going to outwork you. And I believe that I'm going to bring that so consistently, you're going to get tired. Your tired is going to look different than my tired because I put in the work, right? So all of those things allowed me to have a level of confidence when I stepped on the floor. And in that, and because my teammates saw me work that hard, well, guess what? Now they have a level of confidence in me as well.
Absolutely.
Right? So they already know I'm in it to win it. They know I'm gonna be there at the 35-minute mark like this, like pass me the ball. Like I'm not gonna be hiding from it. I'm not gonna be too tired to knock it down. I'm in it to win it. And I learned that mentality throughout my journey, but also overseas. You're right. All of the teams are looking at you. Those players are looking at you. And I didn't party with none of them. I'm gonna tell you right now, I ain't party with none of them because you guess what? I'm gonna bust your butt every single time you see me. But not just that, the other Americans and the foreigners on the other team, I ain't party with them either because they was the enemy. I'm about to give you numbers every day. I ain't gonna even party with you afterwards because I got to get rest for the next one. I'm just saying, it's a mentality.
You know what though, and I respect that. I was a little different. Like my thing was, I'm gonna bust your ass, because I come from Prairie View. Nobody knows who Prairie View is. Man, I literally bust dudes that's from Kansas, South Carolina, or whatever, Ole Miss. And I come to the club like, yo, what's up now? I get the what's up clip. So I kind of wanted that, like, yeah, you gonna know who I am.
I mean, they might have been looking for me at the club.
Yeah.
But I wasn't there because I was getting some rest. Because I was like, because it's all in what you put in it, right? And if you're putting 150% in it, then at the end of the game, there's a bit of a letdown. There's a bit of I got to recover. I remember winning the championships with the Houston Comets. Everybody was partying. Man, I was at home watching the videos, all of the highlights with my mom. We used to just hang back, go home, watch all the highlights. I'm like, ooh, you got it that top. My mom used to be so excited.
That's awesome. And then that's why I call you the Kobe, the Jordan of the WNBA, because y'all got that mentality that a lot of people just don't know how to tap into. And I think it's just, it's a gift along with your skill set. And a lot of people don't get it. I'm glad you mentioned championship because we got a question from my boy John. What's up, John? He's asked, what championship means the most to you that you got out of the four?
I mean, I've been blessed to win a lot of championships.
Yes.
So I'll just name two of them.
Okay.
So winning the gold medal with USA across my chest was spectacular. I mean, surpassed any dream I could have possibly had. Also because we won it on September 29th. That was my mother's birthday, and I was able to present her with the gold medal.
That's awesome.
But then when we were faced with the adversity of our point guard, Kim Perrott, passing, and no one really knew that my mom had passed away February of that same year. So my mom had passed away in February, and then Kim passed away in August. And that 1-2 punch for me was devastating.
Yeah.
So the third championship that we won with the Houston Comets was extra special because we had overcome so many devastating moments during that season, and for me personally during that year, that for us to be able to focus and stay the course and win that championship, for me, made it extremely special.
And I can see that, man. Coming from a Houston kid, when I was about early high school during that time, I remember like chronicling the WNBA really hard when it first started, and obviously the Comets are kicking ass. So I was very much engaged, and I could definitely see that being and I knew you was gonna say that as one of your answers for sure. It was a sense of just, you said you don't set too many goals. I feel like that was one that you set. Like, okay, all this adversity around me, I still have to overcome. I still got to show that I'm at the pinnacle of my game, and I knew that would resonate with you a lot. Having that, it was fun to watch as a fan, for real.
Well, I will tell you, I appreciate that. And, for me, I'm all about changing negative situations into positive. It's all about how you confront your issues, right? Like we had every excuse to underachieve. We had every excuse to not win that championship, right? Instead of using those excuses, as I said earlier, let me give myself a reason. I want to pay a tribute to these two people that were special to me. And the best way to do it at that time was to overcome the obstacles and win that championship. Because then I could stand on the podium and I could point to where my mother used to sit, and I could raise up Kim Perrott's jersey and let the world know how special they were to me and to my team.
Yeah.
And to our city.
Like, as you know, you good anywhere in Houston at any time, and you know that. I'm sure you more than know that at this point. I grew up, I knew three names in WNBA, I'm sorry, and all was on the comments. Tina Thompson, Cynthia Cooper, Cheryl Swoops. That's all I knew.
All three of us are Hall of Famers now.
Deservedly so. We were spoiled watching that, especially with a league that's so new, and y'all at the vanguard of it, and y'all just pretty much took it over. Nobody wins 4 championships in a row. And from inauguration to like the 4th year, y'all have won it all. Like it spoiled the hell out of me as a Houston fan. I'm not gonna lie. And so it kind of segues to this nice question. My girl Julian, she played professionally in Germany. She's a German resident rather. She was saying, unfortunately, a lot of professionals have that attitude that you have. How frustrating was it you to have a teammate who didn't buy in the same way? And I'm not gonna name no names, but you see them all the time. They don't quite have that same type of spirit. And Kobe used to get on him a lot. He was one of Kobe's teammates. I'm not gonna say his name, but how does that feel to you when you had that type of player on your team?
Well, it's frustrating, no doubt. It's frustrating. But I believe one of the things that I have as a powerful Aries and a strong-minded female is not only was I expecting you to be the best version of you and bring it every night, but also I was able to meet players where they were.
Okay.
So if you can only give me this, I was like, all right, but you got to give me that every single game. So that way I can count on you, you can count on me. But it's frustrating. It's frustrating when kids don't work hard. When kids don't work hard as far as getting in shape and they're out of shape and they can't go hard because they don't have a wind. It's hard when they don't put in the skill work so that in the crucial moment of the game, they feel comfortable knocking that shot down. They're in the right place at the right moment. They get the right rebound or knock down the correct free throw. It's frustrating. But if you meet players where they are, then all of a sudden, when you really need them in those important moments of the game, they'll show up for you. They'll show up for you because they start to adopt your mentality. They start to adopt your work ethic. They start to see it from your eyes, through your eyes. They start to want what you want. And that's the mark of a champion. That's what Kobe did. That's what Jordan did. Look at the players that Kobe and Jordan played with. Yeah, they had one or two stars, but the rest were role players. And they made those role players believe that they could win a championship. And Steve Kerr knocked down jumpers. You know, it's just that's what you have to do. That's part of greatness. That's part of greatness. If you want to be great, then you've got to bring some teammates with you. You got to teach your teammates your mentality. You got to meet them where they are and take them to where you want them to be.
Absolutely. And I agree. And I want to segue there because it's one thing when you can control a lot of stuff when you're playing. There's a lot of arm's length stuff you can do. So tell me, you've had, ups and downs coaching. You tell me, how's your journey been conveying your mentality to players in your coaching field akin to how, it was when you actually could go out there and bust their ass on the court, on the basketball?
Yeah, it's been difficult. I will tell you, it's been difficult and frustrating once again, because not everybody have my mentality. Not everybody have my work ethic. Not everybody sees in themselves what I see in them. And for me, that's difficult, right? Like I'm telling you, you could be a champion. I'm telling you, you're great. If you add this to your game, you're going to be amazing. If you work on your ball handling, that's going to take your game to another level. If you are able to just pivot and hit that glass, that's going to change your game and take you to another level. But once again, it goes back to that level of fear. People they feel like, oh, you're Cynthia Cooper. Well, I wasn't always Cynthia Cooper. I couldn't always knock down a jumper. I wasn't always able to handle the ball. I worked on those things. If you work on those things, you can be great. You can take your game to an absolute another level if you adopt my mentality. And listen, my team this year, we did at the beginning, they fought me on it. They fought me on it.
Always.
And then they started to believe and started to see success. And we started to beat teams that nobody believed we could beat. And all of a sudden, they started to buy in. And before you know it, we had players. I had coaches coming up to me saying, yo, this team is completely different than last year. It was the exact same team, one or two players different. But they were like, this team is totally different. And that's mentality. That's work ethic. That's believing in yourself. No, even when you don't believe you can do it, believe that I believe you can do it. Let me believe in you at the beginning when you're trying to develop this confidence and develop this work ethic. Let me believe for you.
Absolutely. And I want to comment about that team. And I did my little research on that. So y'all beat Rice, Hawaii, Tulane, and UTH, teams that traditionally people would expect you not to beat. And I remember, that was my start coaching. We went to Hawaii. I think the girls and the boys team played the Hawaii teams.
Mm-hmm.
I think we both took L's. And so it's good to kind of come back in teams like that. And I always would tell them as a grad assistant, like, you should expect to beat these teams. Like, U of H ain't a team you should be like, oh my God, we playing U of H. You're supposed to smack them. SMU, smack them. Like, you should have that mentality that,
you should have seen the team. Like, we went up to Hawaii. Nobody wins in Hawaii. University of Texas lost to Hawaii. We went up there. We start playing that defense. I call a timeout. I'm like, look, if you don't get in front of her, I'm taking you out. If you don't do this, I'm taking you out.
And you ain't say it like that either.
No, I ain't say it like that.
I've seen you in action, Coop. Hey, how you say
man, I am not playing with you because you know what? Basketball is time sensitive. Yeah. You got to get it done right now. Yeah. I can't wait 20 minutes. We could be down by 20. So you got to make that adjustment right now. And we went to we were down by maybe 8 to 10 against Hawaii. Ended up winning by almost 20. Yeah. My point is, we had Rice. Rice had 6'9" Mulkey. We didn't care. We start scrambling defensively. They didn't know where we were. We were in peak. We were deflecting the ball, stealing, fast break, knocking down threes. I mean, what's going on here? And so we had some early wins, right? And so all of a sudden they start looking at me like, okay, coach, maybe you were right. Like, maybe you do know what you're talking about. Maybe I am better than I believe I was, And they just started to believe in the system. And when you start believing in the system, you give a different level of energy, of effort to your job, your game.
Yeah, and the commitment is everything, and the culture you cultivated, your team is everything. If you coach, and I always tell people who are so critical of coaches, go coach some low-level AAU team and see how the politics play, how you got to mold minds, how you have to reprove yourself to be a person worthy of buying into, and you'll truly understand how hard it is to be a coach. And another good question from Julie, and she was asking, like, how do you handle your players who don't behave like professional? Now, she coaches professionally in Germany, where she's from, and she's saying, like, i.e., when they don't follow team rules, or if you catch them partying, drinking, whatever. So how do you handle them to keep them in line to understand the goal?
Well, I'm gonna be very honest with you. It depends on if they're my top players or if they're the last one on the bench. I'm just keeping it real with you. Not everybody's created equal. So there's one kid, when you start giving me what she giving me, you can do what she does. Otherwise, quiet. I don't want to hear it. So my whole thing, listen, you gotta reach players where they are and show them why it's better to do it this way. Because not everybody sees it the way you see it. But if you have a team rule, for the most part, in generally speaking, especially early in the season, you can do this earlier in the season. Punish them, make them run, make them do some of those things. Run as a team. Sometimes I'll have the person who was late to class or left study hall too early. I'll have them stop and watch their team while they run. Yeah, they don't have to run. No, because you too good to run. No. I'm gonna have your team running for the next 30 minutes because peer pressure is sometimes tougher than a coach standing.
Yeah.
They get in that locker room and they gotta handle that. And so sometimes I do that. So I try to balance it. But if sometimes I just get frustrated. And it could be my top player or it could be the last player on the bench. If she's done something that I've repeatedly said don't do, I'll keep her out. I'll sit her out, even at the cost of a win. As a matter of fact, you'll see your team step up, right? When you're doing something that you know is right, your team will sometimes step up, right? And I do a lot of that work early in the season so that I don't have that problem late in the season.
That's real shrewd, Coop. And that's actually a page out of what they call Hegelian dialectic, was pressure from above, pressure from below. So you put that pressure on them, and your kids are putting pressure on them. So eventually they get it. That is a tactic like Greg Popovich utilizes. That's a tactic that what's my man's name, Calipari utilizes, and so it's very effective to that. But it's definitely methodology behind it. So it's good to hear.
I didn't know that. But, that's good company right there.
So coaches out there listening, it's a game within a game. Phil Jackson, probably the best at that. He will always have dissension to create them to figure it out and to ascend at the right time to win the championship. It's never just face value with a lot of stuff you see. The greats, they understand that it's ways you have to metastasize.
Yeah, because not everybody, not everybody's going to come in there. First of all, let me just say this. Everybody's going to make mistakes. People make mistakes, right? But there are some people who just do that shit to piss you off, just to be managed. It has nothing to do with basketball. It has nothing to do with you, to be honest. It's just they don't have the self-discipline to come in there and do right every single day. And you've got to encourage them and teach them and show them, especially on the collegiate level, the right thing to do. Then when they continually go against what they know is right, now you got to make them pay for it.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, everybody's going to do it, right? Everybody's going to, and then you have a bigger problem on your hand. And a lot of that stuff I nip in the bud at the beginning of the year.
And I think it's important too, because you teach them to be better humans in general. Like, so even if basketball won't be your meal ticket, you'll be disciplined enough to understand that, hey, if you take this same mentality to whatever you want to do, you will never be in this position where you need to be begging for somebody for a position, for a job, whatever, because you're going to bust somebody's ass on all that. So is that kind of your mentality of, of course you want to win. That's why you get paid. That's why you do what you do. But do you kind of project that onto them later in life, or how do you kind of view that?
Like I tell them that basketball, sports in general, is really a precursor to life.
Yeah.
It's really if I'm in the executive world and my boss has told me that I need to have this presentation done on time, to the best of my abilities, and we got to knock this thing out the park, and I got to be ready to present that stuff on Tuesday. I can't come in there on Tuesday and say, oh, well, I wasn't feeling well. I had a heart, a headache. I'm on my whatever. You can't come in there with no excuses. You got to come in there. You got to drop it. Also, because I'm a female and I'm an African American, so I already am have to do above and beyond. And you think I'm gonna come in there with a half game? Man, I'm not coming there half-assing nothing. I'm coming in there A game, A plus. As a matter of fact, they're gonna reevaluate the whole A, B, the whole scale by the time I'm done. That's the type of effort I want to put into everything. But that's not what kind of effort I put into coaching too. I'll change a play. I'll see something on the court. I'll be like, no, time out. Come here, do this. I just saw it. It's gonna work. Boom, do it. Bam, it works. All of a sudden, their eyes are like this, like, oh, okay, she kind of know what she's talking about. She all right, But my point is, there are no limitations unless you make them. Stop limiting yourself as a coach, as a player. Stop limiting yourself. Be the very best version of yourself that you can be every day.
That's great advice to take. And I'm going to ask you two more, Cooper, and we can roll on. I know we said 30. You cooking, though, man. I'm letting you cook, Coop.
I love you. I love you.
I'm about to raise the roof over here, man. I had to do it. I know you're tired of hearing it. But, man, so what I want to ask is, you being one of the pioneers of the WNBA, so where do you see the game going right now? And what does it need to kind of boost up, or just where do you see the game at right now?
I love the game right now. I mean, there's so much talent. There's so much talent on every team, on every level. I probably would like to see the players do a little more work pro bono in the community, getting these kids and getting new fans in love with the game of women's basketball. But there is nothing about the WNBA, they call it the W now, that I don't absolutely love. They're doing a lot of stuff on social media. They're bringing in, maybe the one thing that I would change or that I would add is that bring back veterans that love the league, that love it like I love it, like Tina loves it, like Cheryl loves it. Bring back like Lisa Leslie, bring back some of us and use us in some of your ads, some of your stuff, just to continue, to bridge that gap between some of the younger talent and some of the veteran talent. I would do that. But I love everything that the WNBA is doing right now. They have such a high level of talent. And I would encourage new fans to experience it before you judge it. And when you experience it with a clean slate. Don't experience it comparing it to the NBA because it's a different game, so to speak,
Absolutely.
right? We play the game different, but each game has its own qualities, has its own highlights, its own entertainment value. And so I love what WNBA is now, and I'd love to see the WNBA expand in the next 5 years.
I agree with that. Having taken, I mean, when you was in, I was totally locked in WNBA. I'm not gonna lie, totally locked in. Then after that, when the franchise leaves, obviously your attention wanes and what have you. And so I kind of got back into it. One of your understudies, Toya Wilson. I've been following, Baylor over the years. She's brought me to games and stuff, and so I've got kind of, re-ingratiated with the women's game. Brittany Grimes has been a favorite of mine since like Nimitz High School. I went to Eisenhower, same district, so she was a lot younger than me. But watching her go through her story was been like awesome to see for the game. I saw her step and dunk on the girl. I was like, oh my god, like I never seen.
Like I want to get my hands on her. Want to get my hands on her because so many people put limitations on themselves.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Brittany, you're already rising and dunking over people. If you get a little flavor, a little swag, oh my God. Oh, I can't take it. Incredible.
I feel that 100% because the team Zaire Wade and Bronny plays for, they have a 7'2" Chinese sophomore kid. Oh my God, man. Yeah. To me, he's the best. His name is Harold Yu, I believe. I watched him play in Dallas when they played Duncanville. Great game, but a lot of people in the stands, oh, he trash. I'm like, listen, that kid, if you worked with him, oh my God, he would kill.
That's right.
16 years old, 7'2", and got hands. He can pass. He got a little sweet touch. You just got to learn the game, how to be a big man. So I know exactly what you mean when you watch that. Like, I wish I could just mold that clay a little bit.
That's right. Just 3 months, and I got you.
Yeah.
Shoot, I could do it with the men too. Just 3 months. Just 3 months of my mentality, of my runner, my in and out. Just a couple moves, and I'll tell you when to use them, and they're gonna be successful every single time.
Brittany, if you watching, man, holla at Coop, man. Coop gonna get you right, man. Coop gonna get you right.
You want longevity? I got your back.
Yeah, already. All right, so let's wrap it up a little bit. Let's see. So we talked about that. And Derek, shout out to Derek, man, my old teammate at Prairie View. Coop, you see Derek Johnson.
Hey, Derek.
He said, Coop, you played, coached, done sports broadcasting. What's next for you in sports? So I guess he's saying, what do you see yourself as being when it's all said and done?
When it's all said and done, I'd love to coach in the NBA. When it's all said and done, I'd love to teach some of the younger players in the NBA how to keep the NBA alive and well, how to work hard for their head coaches, how to work hard for their teams, how to win championship. I want to infuse in some of these young men the mentality of winning championships, not just scoring buckets, but winning championships. This is the skill set you need. This is the mentality you need. This is the work ethic you need. And if you want to be not just a player in the NBA, but have success in the NBA and have a legacy, leave a legacy in the NBA, this is the mentality you need to have, and this is the work ethic you need to have.
And I think that's a very valuable thing missing in a lot of sports. Because it's almost to the point I can't even watch high school basketball. It's very hard for me to watch college too. We're talking men's basketball. So, because again, you missing that element where guys want to I want to be great. I'm gonna give up everything that's gonna take for me to get to that next level. Now, I will say I did love watching. So before I went to Prairie View, I played at Stephen F. Austin. They beat Duke, and that was like, man, I damn near want to cry watching that. Like they beat Duke at Duke. So to watch them guys buy in, to go hard, to be selfless, we don't go all the way through. I've never seen nothing like that. And being a part of basketball for 36 years, I don't think I've ever seen nothing to that degree, in that degree of difficulty.
I think what that proved is that's why basketball is so wonderful. Basketball is so amazing because any given day, it could be your night. Any game you can win if you believe it. Like you bring your A game. And it can happen at any time, and it can happen at any level. I mean, you can look at Mammoth, you can look at VCU, you can look at George Mason. You can look at so many different teams that have done it and on a consistent basis, but I think the bottom line is you got to stop believing that you're less than and start believing that I put my shirt on the same way you put your shirt on. And I believe I put in more work. And I believe I did my homework on you. So what's up? Because if we were in a gym playing pickup and you didn't have Duke on and I didn't have TSU on, I'd bust your butt. I'd give you numbers. And that's what I'm trying to teach my kids. It don't matter what's on their chest. It matters what's in their heart.
I agree. And to kind of impart this self-applied wisdom, I've seen Coop have this mentality in any and everything. I've seen her go off on a lady at Piccadilly's in Mississippi.
You have to bring that up.
Coop hold herself in high regard no matter what, no matter where, no matter situation. And again, I've seen that firsthand. And that's something that
also because I want my team to be held in high regard,
Yeah.
Don't see me pull up and then feel like you can be lesser than. Don't treat my kids like they're not the top notch. They are the best. They are my kids. They work hard and show them some respect, show them some love up in the club.
I love it, man. That's called having like a ruling class mentality. When you have that mindset that, hey, this is my thing. I don't know what y'all got going, but I got my thing going. So y'all have to deal with what I got going. That's how you succeed. That's right. That's something I love about you. And so let me ask this. This is something that was your thing when you first came to Prairie View, was that a lot of people want to challenge you and step up to you. So, and a lot of males. So there's a debate. Kobe said a little bit before he passed about women playing the NBA. So what are I'm going to ask you a two-part question. How do you feel about that being a possibility? And two, how do you feel you would have fared in that position going against NBA guys potentially playing the NBA?
Well, okay, so the first part of that question, I don't think that women should play in the NBA. I think women should play in the WNBA and that they should be the best that they can be in the WNBA. Just like the LPG, the women, women play golf in their league, the men play golf in their league. Volleyball, women play volleyball and men play volleyball. Beach volleyball, men play, women play. So there should be a place for a professional women's league and basketball league in the United States, and that's the WNBA. Now, me personally, I grew up playing against guys.
I knew you about to go there.
Yeah, I grew up playing against guys. I've been taking guys to the hole my entire life. No, you don't understand. I've been taken to the hole my entire life.
Coop, I heard this in 06. I heard this speech in 06. I already know. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I don't mind. I would have been successful in the NBA. I would have had to switch to point guard.
You definitely have to. And
I probably would have had to play a little bit more defense.
A lot more defense.
But I would have been successful. You know why? Because I played against guys. I know their mentality. I have the same mentality. And I have something different than they have, right? I'm a female. So I really ain't got nothing to do but to get my move and everybody gonna go crazy. They, on the other hand, gotta be perfect. They gotta score and they gotta try to stop me. Can you imagine trying to stop my in and out? I got some guys at the gym still looking at me, looking for me, still looking for me with my in. I'll be like, oh, they tap dancing. What? So I would have been successful in the NBA, within reason, right? Now I'm not a Kobe. I wouldn't have been a Kobe. I wouldn't have been a Jordan in the NBA. They let me play with girls. So I was a Kobe Jordan when I played with women. But playing in the NBA, I would have given them some numbers.
You know what, Coop? I'm not gonna lie, and I love the first part of your argument. I'm gonna keep it all the way trill. I'm like, women should play with women, men should play with men, and enjoy it. Like, you don't have to make these comparisons to make people envious of the next. Now, with your mentality, you would have had some space in there. Now, I've got to argue. I'm gonna keep it all the way trill. If somebody said you would have been a starting two-guard NBA, I'm like, hey, listen, I look up the Coop like nobody in this world. I don't know about all that. But you would have brought that you took to that next level. Again, you moving the point guard was essential, what you're saying. to have a space. I mean, you about what, 6'1"?
I'm about 5'11", 6
Oh,
foot.
yeah, okay, on paper 6'1". That's tall.
Yeah. But you know what? The whole thing is, so like I said, I played against not just guys, you guys. I didn't just play against guys. I played against NBA guys. I mean, back in the day, I used to play in San Antonio with some of the Spurs. I don't mind mixing it up. I know that when I go to the basket, everybody gonna try to block my shot. I know that, which is why I'm gonna go up and I'm gonna go under. I'm gonna get you to hit me right here on the arm, or I'm gonna go up, let everybody jump. I'm gonna pass it out to my teammate and let them dunk on you because I know nobody wants a girl to score on them. So I already know how y'all gonna react to me when I break him down because the person defending me is gonna have to hold me because my first step is ridiculous. Hey, I'm gonna date myself. I'm gonna date myself for your fans. I'm turning 57 tomorrow.
Damn, cool.
And my first step is still ridiculous.
Hey, I would expect you to say nothing different, man. Knowing you all these years, I would expect nothing different, man. And again, that's what makes you who you are, and that's dope, man. So I love that. Cool. We gotta do this again. You got anything that you want to shout out before we head out, man? It's been an awesome interview.
Well, I just thank everyone for tuning in and thank you for having me.
There it goes. All right, so y'all, we got Cynthia Cooper on hoopjargon.com's website. I really appreciate you, Coop. So we gotta do this again at some point. Somebody said Coop 42, Cliff 12. I mean, right now I can't hoop no more. I'm trash. Cooper watch me, man. Cooper watch me, man. All right, so yeah, so Julian again, our coach from Germany. She tuned in like I don't know, it's like 7 hours the other way. So she was kind of struggling to stand up for this, Coop. So she really was wanting to hear from you. So I appreciate you doing this. You know, because I try to help people out, man. I really do. And so she said,
I appreciate her tuning in.
Yeah, she was saying, thank you so much for taking your time. Can't read. Talk to us, coach. I hope I experience your coaching one day and not from a screen. So, Coop, you got to go to Europe one day. That's what she's saying.
Have me out. Give me a call. Call me up.
You try to get flew out, huh? All right, Coach. So, man, I really appreciate you, man. Again, under different circumstances, hopefully your season be rolling and we can do this again. But, yeah, man, I really appreciate you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Mwah. Mwah. Take care.
All right.